Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Tell us where you're from.
Everyone, come on in. Tell us. We have a big show lined up for you today. It's going to be answering your deepest questions about the nature of consciousness. There's no question off limits. And as always, we love going into these topics, diving deeply, and really having fun with you guys. So it's going to be an amazing hour, and we're going to cover a lot of ground. We're really looking forward to it.
We'll cover as much ground as they give us,
Yeah.
as you give us, whatever we're going to go.
All right. Right at the top, we got Yasmin and Desiree. Hello, guys. Yeah. Awesome.
Hey.
Everybody, come on in. Come on in. You can feel free to ask your questions right in the comments, and we will go and get those going. Yeah, everybody's just popping in now. How you feeling, Julia? Everything good?
Everything's good. Yeah. Yeah. It just, when you're talking about time, when we said that earlier, it was like, because earlier I was having a conversation and I was trying to remember something that happened. It was actually something that happened yesterday and it felt like it was a week ago. And it's like, so that time distortion thing is all doing its thing again. So maybe we're in the middle of a vortex. Woo. You talked about, I kept wanting to say that, you've talked about Sedona and how the trees, like I've seen them, they do this twisting thing, and that's how you know a vortex is there. Well, guess what I have here in my woods? I have lots of trees that do that. I'm like, but I am, Arkansas, this area, we're over big crystals, and stuff. So that would make sense that there's a lot of energy. So it's a very similar, this area is, you have these very sacred areas, and this is one because Eureka Springs isn't far from here, and that's in the diamond mines and the crystal mines, and so it's very similar lines we have, and we're talking, bringing up Sedona because we have a retreat coming in Sedona, so that's just really fun that all these beautiful areas that we go to, and yeah, let's go see all this, feel the energy. Yeah.
They have diamond mines in your
In
area?
Arkansas, yeah, it's the only. In fact, it might be. Where did I saw this on a trivia show? Um, the only public, maybe diamond mine in the world. Maybe I don't know. But you go out there, yeah. The diamond mine. I'm not sure what they do, but it's a field. I've been there, and you just go out and you just pail and shovel. You kind of sifter and stuff, and you just go out and play in the field and see what you find. Some people have found some really nice diamonds. But it's a lot of work for maybe, I don't know about maybe getting something, okay? Where the crystal mines, I like to go there because you're guaranteed. I mean, you will get stuff and there they pull the dirt, they pull the material that just out of the caves. I mean, they go underground, they pull it out and they just put it on the ground. They dump it, the dirt, and then you get to go dig through the dirt. And there's crystals everywhere. So, I mean, I have some here at the house. They're clusters, but they're like, it won't even fit on the screen. They're probably 2 feet
Ooh.
long and yeah, big clusters. It took a dolly, to take them out of there. I got them in my car and I got 2 of them.
Oh my
And
God.
I just, yeah. And then I have a lot of, you'll find lots of, different kinds, but they're quartz crystals here. I mean, this is where this and Brazil, I think, and there may be another place, but this is where the quartz crystals come from.
Wow.
That's what we're on big, huge crystals. What I was shown etherically was huge. I mean, huge crystals underground. So,
And what are the significance of the crystals to you?
well, it's energy. The crystals to me, significance of the crystals. I don't know. I mean, it's energy. It's like quartz crystals. It just feels pure. It feels, um, gosh, all it's coming is energy. I just know that the significance to me is whenever I do all the traveling, what they have shown to me is I'm taking the energy from here and taking it to other places and then bringing that energy and back to here. So it's like there's something, there's a transference and it may be even, creating Boy, I just heard the word portal, but that's interesting. I don't know how that could be done, but that's interesting. I just heard portal. But something's happening with this energy. So it's a way of just because I'm here and then doing all the traveling. That's one of the reasons for the traveling over the years. It's just taking this energy around the world and then also bringing those energies back here. So maybe things are transmuted. I just heard that word. So I don't know. As far as significance, I just do my thing. It was just really cool when I found out that they're huge crystals. I saw it etherically first, and then I got confirmation, a few months later after I'd seen it, but somebody who did a blog on traveling and going to the crystal mines, and I hadn't even gone there yet at that time, and they were talking about the huge crystals that are underground, and it's like this whole area. It's total confirmation. That blew my mind, and that was back when I wasn't sure about the messages I got, and so that was definitely helping me to trust the messages.
It's powerful. As we adventure around the world, and we were traveling for quite some time and going to so many different countries, we'd always stop at the crystal shops and see what's going on. There's always, for a couple different things, there's always a really good vibe in there. So there's really friendly people, and there's a lot of the way that they have the settings for the crystals and the way they have their shop organized. It's always really cute and cozy going in there. I think from the perspective of what we do, we've heard so many interesting QHHT sessions about crystals and experiences of other worldly lives using crystals, Atlantean civilizations using crystals, Lemuria. There's actually Lemurian crystals that are the name of the crystals. And those are the crystals that have the lines in them.
I know we found those that time over here, and we're like, is this really? How did they know it came from Lemuria? I mean, that's what it came from Lemuria, but yeah, I think it's a certain design is what it is. I don't know if they're actually from Lemuria. I mean, how would they know?
Yeah, I mean, the only way we do is like get into altered state of consciousness, have a session done, channel, do QHHT sessions, meditate on it. We're not going to get the answer in their guidebook about logically trying to decipher where it's the crystals are, for me, connected when you get out of your head, when you get out of your ego, when you really imagine the vibration. And I think imagine the vibration of that crystal. And I did have a life when I was having a QHHT session where I was working with the crystals, and it was part of Lemuria, and it was almost like you could imagine going into the crystals and feeling the vibration and the reverberation and those spectrums, because they do reflect spectrums of light. And going into it and imagining yourself going into the crystal and feeling what these reverberations of light and these reflections are. And they lead you to, if you look at them in certain ways, they show different reflections of your life. So all the different facets and places of your life. And you can harmonize them by focusing in on particular facets and drawing your energy into those. And then you're sort of amping them up and fine tuning them. And that was one of the rituals that we did in Lemurian times, where we were acting with the crystals. So they're really powerful. And for everybody, it's different. I think the way that you want to explore your relationship with crystal, there's no particular guidance that you have to do. It's about individually how you feel about it and how you wish to explore.
Absolutely. When you were saying all that, I was hearing, then you started using musical terms. I was hearing music, actually. I was hearing a tone. And then you started using musical words like harmonize, tune, things like that. You were using these words, and that's exactly what they're. So I guess crystals make sound is what they were. I guess I was getting from that. Something else, as you reminded me of the significance here is we were. Let's see, how did this work? We were told, this was like it's something, I don't remember how she got this information. I don't remember all that part, but it was that the Atlanteans they stored their information in these mountains, in the crystals. They put them in the crystals. And then later it was like, They said they were in these crystals, these mountains. And it's like, I kept thinking, why would the Atlanteans travel all this way to put them here? That didn't make sense. And then one of our classes, some people that we had over here in Eureka Springs, some people went down to the crystal mines, and they were doing their digs and everything. And I guess they got talking to the people there, and they said, well, you know that this used to be part of Atlantis in this area. And I was like, I did not know that. I didn't know Atlantis reached that far, and so that would make total sense, because they said this area has been here forever. I mean, it goes back so far, and that's where then when they stored their, when they knew it was coming or whatever, they stored their information, they stored their knowledge into the crystals, and so it's, and that's these huge crystals that are underground. So anyway, yeah, there's probably so much more here.
Yeah,
it's here in Brazil. Is there a third one? I know here in Brazil. Those are the two
for the clear.
For the quartz crystals,
Yeah, for the clear quartz crystal, and then there's different offshoots of it. I think in Atlantean times, I also had a session where we were using them as they were the energy sources for the city, and they were power generators, basically.
Which they are. They have so many uses.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be really cool if we would actually use them. So like maybe there's probably people already working on that, but that would be an avenue to look into, I would imagine, because they have so many, like we're saying, sound. They're doing all these other things. Their power. They have a lot of uses.
And also, there was another one. I'm trying to think of there were three different things. I had a life. Oh, it was a Lyran life that I was having, and I was using the crystals with the equivalent of they were like lasers. So I was using them.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Using their frequency to be lasers, and the lasers had different uses in terms of molding and shaping things.
Depending on what the size of the laser was.
Yes.
And the tone of it, because that would do things.
It was very technical, and I was like the equivalent of a scientist there. So there were many lives that came through that were profound in these different civilizations that were different time, different place, and the crystals were very powerful. So it's no doubt that, if you're listening this now and you have an affinity for crystals, the affinity probably expands far beyond they look pretty, and I think it would look nice on my wall. Like, you can explore your relationship to them if you wish to dive deeper in.
Yeah.
Best way we always say if you really want to get in and dive really deeply into the nature of something, is to do a QHHT session, because that really helps you to establish connections that are not as apparent, that your mind would usually try and connect. And then you have a QHHT section and it's like, boom, something the mind never constructed, and you're like, oh wow, that makes so much sense. And we see that happening so much. So amazing.
Exactly. It really is. And then try to put it into something. It's like, could that be done like those? Like, those were really wonderful uses. And it's like, okay, if they were used at one point in that way, then they can be done again. So it's a matter of understanding. I mean, if it's used for a power source, I'm surprised we're not doing that now. So is it just we don't know about it? What? Because that would be great. That's natural.
Yeah. It is like, this brings the duality part where I come back into 3D. This thought's a very 3D thought, but when I look at the world, and what I see currently is this move back into oil. I was just kind of reading some of the headlines, and then this week they say EV sales have just dropped dramatically, and the world's going back to oil and gasoline, and, which to me it's super perplexing, because when you find what's that?
What's the reason? Why are they saying that's happening?
The demand is just dropped, and usually it deals with an uneducated buyer. They're not fully aware of their options, and they're not fully aware of what the end costs are to the buyer. So they're just going into the closest place, car shop, buying, not doing particular research. Because I'm pretty confident that when people understand cleaner energy, I'm not saying what we have now with EVs is perfect, but it
We're
is cleaner.
yeah, progress. Yeah.
It's progress. It's cleaner and it's getting better. And the degree of technology for homes and cars and energy sources and battery packs keeps getting better and better.
Yeah.
But we, as the caretakers of this planet, can accelerate that by voting with our pocketbooks. And when it comes to making a decision, choose a decision that's a cleaner source of energy, even if it's a little bit more money comparatively. Where it's not anymore, it's to the point where the cleaner sources of energy are getting to be even better. So I'm taking the 3D idea trend that we're seeing now and trying to overlap the 5D concept on it, because power has such a powerful control over the world that we live in now. Oil governs everything. Oil is actually governing the monetary policies of all the countries, because a raise in oil raises all inflation. Inflation goes up. Interest rates stay up. Interest rates stay up. Homes are not affordable. Cars are not affordable. Big purchases are not affordable, and people are priced out of getting what they want. So that's sort of like the current structure that we're in, and the structure sucks. It's a horrible structure. It's a dependency on oil that's locking up everything, and there's a high correlation between the countries that produce oil and bad behavior. If you take a look at the main countries that produce oil, they're not really promoting a 5D version of the world. It's usually more of an autocracy, and it's usually more of a less reliance on advancement of the society and more reliance on all means just trying to push forward and keep this oil dependent culture moving forward. So these systems need to break. They are breaking. Things are changing in the world, but sometimes it's good just to see the world for what it is and realize what we can do on an individual level for the change. Because I don't really bring this up to go on a rant about the current status quo. I do it to remind us that we can impact the status quo through our choices.
Right.
And just being very clear in what we put our support into. So you can do your support in different ways, right? You can do your support on social media. You can do your support of talking with people. But ultimately, kind of what drives the world is economically the support that you give through what you buy and through how you allocate your resources. Those decisions overlap into the consensus allocations, which shape policy and shape product and everything. So that's just kind of, I don't know how that's coming in. We just had to get that out there. But get behind clean energy is my plea.
Yeah. Cleaner. Get cleaner.
Get behind cleaner energy sources. All right. We're ready to rock into some questions now. Let's see. We go into Katerina Elise. How do you know it's real and not fake when you go to those shops that you buy it? Any particular ideas what to check? We're talking about crystals. I want to buy about. I want to buy one, she says. So how do we know if they're real or not real, or they're fake? You can have manufactured crystals. You know, they're in China, of course. There's a lot of manufactured things in China.
You know what I would do? Just feel it, and see what energy you get off of it. I would imagine. Yeah, because they will have energy, and you might say, well, I don't know if I would feel it or anything. You will, if you have a desire to get one, just to see how it feels to you, and go from there. Man, how to tell if it's real? I mean, it's not going to be plastic. These are rocks. You know, I mean, they're gems. So I would think a manufactured would be like plastic of some kind, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's not going to be as. Certainly it's not going to be as pure with its resonance. They look somewhat similar. You could just go into Etsy and you could do a scan and you'll see the ones from China, and then there's asterisks that say this is a manufactured crystal. They're much cheaper. The real ones are more expensive. And so those are, I guess that's a way of, price will usually dictate that. The ones should be cheaper if they're manufactured. Weight probably has something to do with it.
Yeah, when you feel it,
it's hard to manufacture imperfection. So when you look at the crystal and you see random imperfections, that is most likely going to tell you that it's real and authentic.
Hmm.
Whereas the manufactured are not. There's going to be like sort of more symmetry, and it's kind of funny, right? How we can actually value imperfection. That goes too for. I know you like the home improvement shows, Julia.
Hmm.
When you're looking at stone for your home and you're looking at natural stones for countertops, especially in kitchens, sometimes you pay a premium for imperfections that they give it the
Imperfection.
real. They give it the life. They give it the shape. They give it this natural, beautiful color. And so
Yeah,
sometimes imperfection is beauty.
absolutely. But yeah, there's a feel, but then definitely, yeah, just feel the energy, feel if it has, but yeah, if you look at it, these are stones, so that's going to be that's just all I keep feeling. It's like it's natural. I'm wanting to go over here. These stones are talking to me. These aren't quartz, but these are stones that I have been attracted to at different places. What they are, I have no idea. But see, that's how I do things. If it appeals to me, then I get it. So let me just let me show you my rocks. Like I said, I don't know, but isn't that pretty? That's just, it was a green. I don't remember where I may, I don't buy that
Very pretty.
many. Very pretty. And then this one, see, it's because of the, I just thought it was really cool markings on it. But yeah, I think you're talking about, see, there's something like that could probably be an imperfection. It's almost like a crack, but it doesn't feel like a crack. But see how but you have all these, this is what you were talking about, like on a countertop, that would be
Yeah.
that kind of markings that would
That
be
would be
there.
beautiful for a countertop. Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
A
That'd be
smaller.
gorgeous.
Yeah, could use that for a
Yeah.
smaller one.
It's even got sparklies in it. Can you see that? It's got little sparklies. So all of those things are, I don't know. I just look, when I'm in a crystal shop, I just look around and I feel, and it's whatever talks to me, so if it appeals to me. So if you have a crystal shop in your area, maybe do it that way. If you're doing it online, I just don't even know. I haven't bought any that way, so I don't know how that would. Yes, I have. I have actually. Yeah, we bought some for our retreats. And we would give them out and things. We just little ones, but there again, you don't know what you're getting. But it's kind of fun. That was fun just to give out, and then people got ones that were relevant to them. That was like a whole higher self, attracting people to their right crystals.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, people are saying, "Hey, Julia's rock collection. This is cool."
I know these are just here. I have the quartz over on the windowsill. I'm in crystal land. I have crystals everywhere. So, yeah.
Talk about the crystal ball I got you.
Oh my gosh. I should go get it. It's in the other room. But yeah, that was fun. Okay, so it was my birthday, and Kai, we were doing a class, and he's like, we go in to a crystal shop, and he's like, just pick something out, whatever you want, that's your birthday present. So I'm like, okay. And this crystal ball was really talking to me, and I'm like, whoa, that'd be so cool. And it had this really nice wooden pedestal that it was on. So it's like, okay, got that. And I'm in the hotel, and I put it over on the table. It's in front of the window, and it's like, right by the chair. You know how the hotels always have that little setup. You have the bed, you have the chair, and you have a little table. And so I had it over there by the window. I could have been thinking that, it'll charge. I didn't know if it needed to do anything of the moon to charge it or the sun's going to charge it. I don't know, but I just had it over there. And I was doing work. This happened to be a day off or something, and I was working on the computer. I'm in the chair, and I just start noticing this little, like a whiff, like this a little, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It's like a little poof, poof. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Because I didn't know how this, what's a crystal ball? How does it do? How does it send its messages? What does it do? Maybe it does little whoo. Anyway, I look down and the crystal ball is on this wooden frame, right? And the sun's coming and it's coming through the crystal ball, and it's apparently starting to heat up the piece of wood was holding up this, so it's on the other side. So it's actually starting to, the wood was smoking is what the whiffs were that I was seeing. And so it's like, oh my gosh, if I would not have been there, who knows? That might have caught on fire. This crystal, anyway, really, really cool. So that might be one way of knowing if something's real. It will, see, it was that prism, it was directing the sunlight. Now here's the other thing is when I was going home and I'm getting, so I've got the crystal ball, I'm very, protecting it. I've got it in my carry-on, my my bag, and I'm going through security, and of course it sets off the alarms. They're like, what's in here and everything. So they're going in and they're searching my bag, and I've got it all, it's packaged and they're very protected, and they're like starting to unwrap it. They're like, what is this? I said, my crystal ball. And she looks at me and she just grabs it back up, pushes it in there, and just throws it at me. I'm like, okay, there we go. I loved it. It was so great. We've had some really interesting travels with different things that we get. Some of these, we're really attracted to different things from different countries or different places. But then our challenge is to get it home. And that's where we have really interesting adventures. I like that, the crystal ball. So, don't think what's it gonna, but I go through security a lot of times with crystals. I have a lot of crystals in my bags. I collect things. I'll get rocks from different places and I'll do, crystals. It's just different things. And so I might not always take them out. So my bag might have a lot of weight in it, which is rocks. And sometimes they set it off, and most of the time they don't. But a big ball, they notice that.
Yes.
It was fun.
Let's see another question. Sylvia I wonder if electric cars are really cleaner energy. Okay, I'll answer this quick. There's multiple questions on this. If you look at the car itself and you compare an electric car versus an ICE engine, an internal combustible engine, the internal combustible engine produces the exhaust that is bad, right? That's a product of the gasoline and a reaction, and is not good for the environment.
Yeah, that's pollution.
And also the taking of the gas out of the earth and anything with fossil fuels, it's a significant net negative. If you're driving, now I'm just talking about driving the car. If you're driving an electric car, there's no emission, there's no exhaust. It's just electricity that's moving in the car. You're not giving out, you're not polluting. The question that comes is when people say, okay, if you're charging it at your home and you're taking your energy off the grid, and then they trace the grid's energy, and they say that can come from fossil fuels or from something if it's coming off of the grid. It's a valid argument. But the future for humankind, hopefully, people get smarter, the prices are going to come down, and more people are going to put solar panels on their roofs and for commercial and home applications. When that's used, the solar power goes into the roof, and then it goes into batteries where it stores that energy, then it goes into your car, and that entire supply chain of energy is incredibly pure and clean, and it's direct from the sun. So that's an incredible chain. And when that's happening, if it's happening on a large scale, that really changes the equation for how we're polluting the earth. It's tremendous. And you ever go down the street and you're walking and a bus comes by you ever inhale like a bus's exhaust? It's horribly toxic, right? It just doesn't feel right. I try and hold my breath when these things come around, but that's the point there. I just want to be super clear with everybody. The solar power is important. The sun has enough power to give us all the energy we need for our cars, for our buildings, and also for our bodies. We are just transitioning into a place to where we're accepting that fact. The light and sun and the energy that comes from that incredible thermonuclear reactor that we look up into, and it comes up and it shows up every single day of our lives. It's a miracle. It's miraculous, and it has unlimited power. So channel your energy into that, and please filter out the misinformation that's hitting society about solar power. There's a lot of misinformation saying solar is toxic and bad. That's coming from companies that produce fossil fuels that are putting that message out to confuse people, but it's not accurate. Don't fall into that. We want to We want to heal the earth. We want to keep the earth in as pristine a condition. And at the very least, we want to stop pollution. That's a mission. Like, we have to treat the earth with
Yep.
respect and love. And Earth Day is coming up. So, tribute to Earth Day. That's my
Yeah.
soapbox of
Absolutely.
treating the earth well and making better decisions. And Agnes says, don't forget about wind energy. Yes,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
wind energies. And they're going to tell you all sorts of things again. The same companies that are the companies that are going to say, oh, they kill birds. These wind farms are horrible. They're actually polluters. There's ways in which they're not killing birds. There's ways in which they can be set up. There's ways in which this really can work. There's also hydropower. The power of
Mm-hmm.
movement of water can work too. So all these things are good. Don't listen to anyone telling you they're bad and they actually pollute the earth and they're worse than gasoline and airline fuel and all these sorts of things. It drives me crazy. It makes me sad
Mm-hmm.
when I hear that, the misinformation, you know.
There's a lot of it out there, a lot of misinformation right now. And I don't know if that's to really get us to tap into our discerning selves and think with our own minds, because that's been a lesson. I've been, gosh, that's been noted for a long, long time. Discern for yourself. That's a big, big thing we've got to do. And maybe this is a way of pushing us to really do that. Don't accept things on face value. Do your own research, think with your own mind, make up your own decisions, make your own thoughts. Yeah.
Super, super, super important. Tanya says, any secrets regarding manifestation? Many repeat the same thing that doesn't work, wondering if there's something that works regardless of how difficult it was to manifest before.
Yeah, you've got to get your emotion into it. You have to imagine it. You probably heard this, like, imagine it's already accomplished. Okay, that's fine. And then some people just repeat affirmations. Okay, well, that you're just saying things. Okay, you're saying it. That's fine if you believe it. If you believe it with all your might. Now, that might be a hard place to get to if it's something that's kind of a big reach, for you. So this is where I said, use your imagination. Pretend it's already done. So we'll use these words because these are words that are not threatening. It's like, see, it is already accomplished. That might be a big stretch for someone that's a big deal for. So let's pretend. Let's be like children, and let's use our imaginations, and we pretend that we already have it. Okay, what would it be like? Seeing how I just got like a kid? What would it be like if that was the case? What would you be doing? What would, so find something that kind of represents it already done. Like whatever, maybe it's a new car, maybe it's or having a new car because of the new job, or I don't know what it is, but just something that represents that. Just have fun with it. Imagine it. Just be like a kid and just like, oh, let's pretend, and then you feel it. You get all those emotions and it's, oh, this is so exciting. I love it. Oh, see, I'm coming from this place. And this place, there's all possibilities and hope and excitement. That's what pulls it in. Just repeating words, you don't have that excitement. You don't have that. And it's the emotions that are drawing that. When you're pretending and you're feeling that, see, that's a place of knowing you're on the same vibration as that manifestation. And that's where then that will be there. Now, here's what you do from there. You are there. You know what that feels like. This is what I would feel like if I had that. Okay? Now, you've seen that. Now you come back to you now, but you keep that feeling. You remember that feeling. And because you have that and you walk now your day in that, it has to come to you. See, that's what's drawing it to you. That's all it is. It's out there because you have imagined it. It has to be. It's a creation of yours, and it's in the timeline. It's just a vibrationary thing. Now, if you find yourself slipping, it's like, oh, I just don't know, then go back, pretend again, get back into that scene. And if you have to do that a bunch of times a day, fine. You'll get to where it's easier to hold that excitement or whatever that feeling is. Sometimes it's a confidence level. You have a different air about you because, in this whatever position or whatever it is, you are a different person. The person that has that manifestation, that has whatever it is you're wanting, is a different person than you are right now. So see, you're holding on to that feeling of what that person is, that whatever it is, excitement, confidence, I don't know what it might be. In my case, it's confidence. It's like a different confidence that person has. So you carry that, and you can fill yourself with that in your current life, in your current place as you walk. I mean, you walk differently, you feel differently. Okay, so that's what you pull that back, you bring that back with you. That is what's attracting the manifestation. Then have no expectations on it. Allow it to come to you in the best way, and every single time it comes in better than what you imagined. So that's why I'm saying no expectations. It has to be, because you have imagined it, you've seen yourself with it. So then allow it to happen. But keep yourself in that flow of that energy, and you do that by pretending, imagining, and all that stuff, and you can put yourself back in that place as often as you want. Twice a day is good for me, but sometimes if I think about it during the day, then I'll just go visit it again real quick in my imagination. See, it doesn't take any time, and it definitely doesn't hurt you to play in that sandbox. Who knows? You know what? The worst that'll happen is you will do things better. The best that'll happen is you'll get what you want. You'll get creations. You'll get all these things, and you'll see that it works. That's why you harm nothing. You definitely don't harm yourself to play in that sandbox.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Beautiful.
But it's about the emotions.
Next question. Teresa Cannon. Hey, Teresa. She says, if you won the lottery, would you still do the work you do?
If I did, yeah, I would. Because this work is purpose. This work, and that's usually what we want. Why am I here? What I'm doing is my mission. That's why I'm here. So even if technically I'm retirement age, but I don't see that anywhere on my timeline. So, this is what I do. This is my mission. That's why I'm here. So I feel like when you're doing what you came here for, the money is a side effect. It's just over here, and it's in there, but it's not what you're doing everything for. You don't do it for the money. It's a nice, and you'll find when you're doing what you love, the universe will take care of you. So yeah, the lottery, they would just make it a lot more comfortable. It's all to do the same things, maybe allow us to do more things. I don't know.
Yeah, and for me, I would say I would go even deeper in, I would allow whatever extra resources come with that, kind of think about this from a philosophical standpoint.
Yeah.
I would ask myself then, how can I double and triple down on expanding the progress of what we do with consciousness? And more specifically, I say, well, then what excites me the most about that idea? And I would have to say, we do these events in amazing places, and we're able to curate them, but they're still at someone else's venue that has someone else's design that isn't 5D. I've never really been to a place that's all 5D, where not only the people, but everything you touch and see and feel and smell and taste is all 5D. If I was just unlimited and lottery type resources, I would definitely take on the challenge of creating a 5D city. And that would get me super duper excited. And in the meantime, not being a lottery winner or player, I'll still do what I am building towards that in my smaller but still very impactful way. I use what I got to do what I can and make the most of it. But it's kind of nice to dream, and it's kind of nice to think about things, because you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
Exactly.
And it's good to go through these mental exercises and ask ourselves questions like that. So it was a good question, Teresa. You're awesome. Check out Ubuku Design Company in Bali, making everything out of bamboo. I will next time I'm in Bali. That sounds very cool. Abu's amazing. Or Ubuku Design. I don't know if that's into it. Okay. Make it happen, Kaya, says Teresa. It would be amazing if I'd
It
babysitting
would.
your village. On the next question, uh, Jess Narayan says, have you had any physical contact with any biological extraterrestrial? If not, is that something you see in your future?
Physical contact, not that I know of, not knowingly, not consciously knowing. I have had contact in altered states, but not actually physically. Yeah, not that I know of. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. You.
To this point, I haven't had direct physical to physical, but
Mm-hmm.
I have had non-physical to non-physical, like
Mm-hmm.
many times
Mm-hmm.
had conversations and experiences physical to non-physical
Yeah.
about the coming of this, and the path that it's happening on my timeline is the first civilization that's coming through is Palladian as a welcoming, and I have a counterpart on that side that's working to accelerate that, the direct contact,
Mm-hmm.
and it's part of the reason why I'm taking part in that is some of the past I've had with entertainment and being in fashion and modeling and things like that, and creating contact that's in a sort of beautiful, artistic, connective way. And like through my life, there's been a principle that I learned from Gianni Versace, the late Gianni Versace, when I was working with him and I was modeling. And he taught me the principle of beautification. And he just said, Kaya, everything that you touch, it's reflective of you, and make it as beautiful as you possibly can. Now, in doing that, it'll be beautiful for the world, but most importantly, one owes it to themselves to make these things beautiful for themselves so that they smile at their creations and they are actively curating something that makes them happy, because there's something very powerful that human beings have about divine creation and beautification of everything around them. So beauty can be words. If you're writing a bio about yourself, make it a bio that feels good. Could be about your home furnishings, like the things that just make you happy when you look at them. Could be art, statues, crystals. Could be your landscaping. You like a garden, you like certain plants, you like trees. Can be your fashion. You like certain clothes. You just put them on. You feel like you're putting on a costume and you're a little more in character. So all of those things are part of the principle of beautification, and it's something that I've followed throughout the course of my life in different industries. It translated well into a variety of different industries, and it translates well into spirituality as well.
Mm-hmm.
The element of spirituality that comes to life when I think of the principle of beautification isn't clothing or furnishings or even words. It's heartfelt energy that is your principle of beautification in the spiritual world. So, what does it mean? For me, that means allowing myself to share my heart, my feelings, my ideas, my concepts with an open heart and open mind, and engage in dialogue with a variety of different sorts of people, and do so as fearlessly as I can. Because it's pretty funny when I walk around the streets of Miami, I am who I am. And almost all of my conversations, you meet new people in social settings. There's a lot of social situations you go in and out of. They always come down, people, I can tell when they're paying attention. And when I talk about the weather, I talk about the city, I talk about a financial market, I talk about stuff like that, I know people are like, oh, yeah, they're talking passively. When I bring up a variety, some different topics, it's always actively. And they're very active when I start talking about them, of the philosophies of consciousness and the power of what we really are, and the hologram that we truly are, and our physical projection is just a mere reflection of that. And I talk about simulation theory. Immediately, I'm getting the attention of everyone.
Yeah.
So people just love that. And then longevity is also one of my passions. I want to live to be 140 and be very vibrant, active, have speed, balance, strength, all like I break my body down into all the different things that I want. Cognitive function, executive function of the mind, able to process a lot of information fast, being able to calculate things quickly. I want all of those things to be at a high level and to basically not die along the way until technology gets better and better and better that allows us to know more about our bodies. Now, we know more about our bodies if we get deep into our higher self, but we can really get the boost when we're really understanding the dynamics of what we're consuming and eating and how we're exercising. And there's still so much mystery in all of that, even though there's a gazillion things out there. I think people are still super confused with the relationship they have with the physical body. And that's also one of the other passions that I do have that I talk about a lot, is like longevity and spirituality. And the 5D environment that I would create, the 5D city, would have those two things front and center, would about live a very long, healthy, happy life, completely connected to the universe and understanding the power of being at one with others and true community. I think that would be something that's really beautiful.
Very cool.
Yeah. Thank you both for this wonderful conversation. I've had both physical and non-physical connections with loving ETs.
Wonderful.
Hey, wonderful, beautiful. Now that I've asked the question, when do you think it'll happen for all? Just to put that, my answer to the question is I have been specifically told by the year 2030 there will be a significant event that I will be experiencing. And that's not like meaning it's everyone's experiencing that, but on an individual level, I'm going to be experiencing something. And many people very close to me will be experiencing something similar. And that will be a pretty big ascension. So that's what I've been told. But people are told different things by their guides, what comes in, the information. That's not too far away. We're looking at like a little over 5 years, or 5.5 years. Mm-hmm. So it's coming. It's coming. Speaking of health, what about your thoughts on COVID? All right, I'll jump in on that. I think letting COVID go to rest is a beautiful thing. It was so polarizing and it brought a lot of chaos around the world. And now it's so beautiful just to be on the other side of something. And I did notice that there are two incredibly huge patterns that have happened within the last 5 years. First, COVID came in and swept and brought out tremendous change. Call it what you want, it was change. So that's one thing that's happening. And once the COVID was finished, almost instantaneously AI accelerated exponentially and became mainstream almost right after. I think there is a correlation between the two on a macro level of how it affected humanity. And we are now in a place to where we know more about ourselves because of these two impactful events. They were very profound, they were very powerful. Now the question is, moving forward, is how are we going to structure our minds? And how are we going to be as healthy, vibrant, emotionally healthy, and physically healthy beings as we possibly can? And understanding that we should take responsibility for our own physical health. Looking to the governments to protect us and tell us what to do about our health and all these sorts of things. I think that is something.
Anyone to protect us. I mean, don't go outside of ourselves. It's all within. I think that's the biggest thing. Take your power back. You're in charge of you.
Yes.
So.
Yes. You're in charge of you. Take your power back. All these things have happened for a reason. Identify a reason that's meaningful for you, that can strike up a burning passion for you, and make it something that's empowering. Because I still hear these fallacies and these circulations, again, of people still talking about COVID. I hear a lot of boastfulness also. There's people that are like, I have a non-vaccinated sperm and I'm an incredibly valuable man. And
oh my goodness.
That's floating around on Instagram now. Like, okay, that's a massaging of the ego. That's wanting to be better than others. That's trying to manipulate an event to make you feel special and important and better than others. Just drop it. Just drop the whole thing about COVID damaging you or making you better, and just see it for what it is and its past, and who are you right now and what do you want to believe. You know, that's just my.
If we go back to everything, remember we're here to have experiences and to learn, and so it's like that was a worldwide experience. It touched everyone globally, so it was an experience, but we all had a different experience. No two people had the same experience, but the thing comes in, what did you learn from it? What was it for you? What did you take away from it? And definitely, I mean, that some of that mentality you were just saying, that goes back to the same thing of, always trying to separate and make groups, or making, what do they call that, exclusive, I don't know, we want to be inclusive, not whatever that is. It's like, oh, I'm better than you, or all these different groups. And that's where, we're all here for the same reason of having experiences to learn. So let's bring it back to that. And so just, what did you learn? What was it for you? And yeah, it didn't make any of us better or worse than anybody else. We all had experiences. We got from it what we were wanting so that we could learn something.
Yeah.
So,
And I'll be the first to say, in the course of my life, I've had more shots than I could possibly imagine. I've gone deep into the Amazon, and I got so many shots. I didn't even know all the shots I was getting. I've gotten a lot of these different shots from when I was going into Africa and taking different pills. And some of them I knew what I was doing consciously. And other times I'm younger, I didn't know what I was doing. And it is what it is. But I don't go back at those things
mhm.
and be like, oh, I'm a less of a man because of that, and I'm poisoned forever. Or maybe one of those shots were good and it saved me for something and I'm better than anyone. It just doesn't matter whether you got vaccinated or you didn't. Doesn't matter whether
Mhm.
you felt you had to for work or your government or old parent, or there's a bunch of, it doesn't matter. You are
Yeah.
where you are for a reason. Drop trying to make yourself lesser, better, using
Mhm.
that as some type of mirror that
Right.
propagates you up into a certain position. I see people still hanging on to that and hanging on to their badges of courage. And
Mhm.
it's sort of like, let's see if we can help people. Let's see if you can have frames that are inclusive, you know. And I saw Desiree make a comment. She said the same with the women and their eggs, like non-vaccinated eggs, like mate with me. I'm a superior being now. You know,
Wow.
it's really common now on social media.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm just, oh my God. Mm.
Yeah. So you can see where that's coming from. And I see a lot of, it's so weird. I'm seeing a lot of influencers that are spiritual people and they have some pretty cool things to say.
Mhm.
And then I see a lot of their other content, and when they are in person, I see how they behave. And it's kind of ridiculous. I think fame is so
Mhm.
attractive through the social media thing, and people want the fame and they're willing to say a lot of things that they know gets them to the fame, but they don't really live what they say.
Well, and that's what this time is about. And that's fine. They're having, this is something they're learning from, but this is where the discerning hats, and you know, I mean, I want people in my life that are walking their talk, that are living their belief system, that are doing that. And so that's what I strive to be doing. Those are authentic people. Just be authentic, be yourself. I mean, it's too hard to be anybody else. It's too hard to do all this other stuff. So just be you. And it might be that, stuff like that, it'll jump out. I mean, they're there for somebody. I guess somebody's, yeah, I don't know, but that's just amazing to me. I had another thought there, about, yeah, remember, our thoughts are creating. We are the product of our thoughts. So if, you know, however you went through an experience, like I said, all that was an experience. And like, if you had to take the vaccination for a reason or whatever, it was your choice, then make peace with, be okay with that. The main thing about it was not to have fear around it. It was just because that's what it represented. It was a lot of fear. And if you noticed, if we go to soul speak or how the body talks, if you noticed, anybody that did have symptoms of issues were in the lungs, and that's the lungs really represent fear. So that was very interesting to me to see. It's like that was definitely confirming how, what it was around this. There was so much fear, and seeing that's how it was manifesting. So it was like if you took it or you didn't take it. I mean, because you could choose not to take it, but then have so much fear around it, you're going to create something else. So you're creating, and if we do things out of fear, then you're creating from that fear, and so you're creating fearful situations. So it's like whatever you choose to do, just like do it boldly, do it without fear. That's the biggest thing. Watch what emotion you have with it. The experience itself is not what matters. It's what are you learning from it? What are you doing with it? Go from there. This happened. We all went through it. What did you get from it? What did you learn from it? And then that's what was right for you. Each one of us, 8 billion people had a different response, a different lesson that they were learning, a different experience. Good, bad, indifferent, it doesn't matter. It's what did you learn? Let's go from there. We all did it. We all went through it. And that's mind-boggling to me sometimes, because so many times we look at, got a situation, I'm dealing with it. And that was a different situation. I mean, sometimes you might have a group that's dealing with it, but it's like, sometimes it occurs to me when we travel, we go to another country, this is where I was someplace and they still had their things on the floor, like 6 feet distance, and stuff like that. And I was like, and it was so funny because it was starting to they hadn't taken them up yet, but they were dirty, but they were getting ready to take them up. And I'm like, what is that? What is that? Oh yeah, we did used to do that, didn't we? It was just like, it was so funny because it's like, that's what it does to me. Yeah, no, the whole world dealt with this. We were all working through this. So you can't get any more inclusive than that. We all did this. Every single one of us went through it in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And
So,
most
yeah.
people felt the effects of whatever it was, severe flu, whether you were diagnosed with it or not, or you had a flu, or you felt sick or something, and most people felt the effects, and then others felt the effects of actually the vaccination itself.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so we all felt the disease, dis-ease at different periods of time. But speaking on a personal level, my my immune system has been the best of my life in the last about year and a half. I haven't had a cold or I haven't had a flu. And usually throughout the course of my life, I've had so a couple times a year. So for me, I've created an optimistic narrative in my mind to say,
That's what it is right there.
I just said, like, my body got healthier because of this experience. The immune system was actually boosted because it had to overcome that. And I just stored that as my belief system. I said, I'm now healthier than ever, and I have a better immune system. And then my day-to-day life shows me health. Of course, I'm not perfect, but overall, I haven't gotten anything that's
Yeah.
been like the equivalent of colds and flus or things like that. And I feel that I'm getting healthier and healthier, and I'm learning more about my body and my
And
health. And
that's the
that's the
reality.
belief.
And that's the reality you are creating for yourself. And each and every one of us has that same ability. What narrative do you have for yourself? What reality are you creating for yourself? It's all based on your beliefs.
So, and I see a lot of confirmations in the chat. People are saying, me too. I haven't been sick since then. I haven't had the flu, the cold, and stuff since then.
Mhm.
So with that in mind, for you personally, it could have been a good experience because it
Mhm.
did something for you that improved your immune system for the rest of your life, and now you're on your path. So why not just hold on to that?
Exactly.
That simply. Why not just hold on to that idea and just let anything other than that idea go? And instead of still people coming up with these negative buzzwords of like, I never got jabbed and they never put the muzzle on me, and they create these words that have negative energies associated with them, and they circulate these words, And they don't realize by circulating these words that they're actually energetically causing a dissonance within themselves, vibration that has the negativity of these words, and those words are reflecting back on them. They're meant to project them out, to give them some type of authority, or, you know, I'm not jabbed, I'm not that, but.
Yeah, I think it comes back to, well, again, you're trying to give yourself some kind of solace or something. You know, it's like comforting yourself. Okay, I'm protected. I'm okay because, you know, I think we're all okay. We're all, you know, it's whatever you're thinking, that's what's creating it.
Yeah, I just got to say, like, to kind of put the final bow on this, like, just think of your narrative about this whole COVID thing, restructure it. If you think that there's negativity embedded in it or a sense of superiority, just restructure it and make it something that's good for you. It's sort of that simple.
Yeah.
And you'll enjoy the benefits of having that sort of empowering belief system. That's what we encourage here. Try it. I really, really encourage you to try it. It works. And the vast majority of you know that. And that's why we're here having the conversation. But I still see some comments. Final
That's their
comment.
choice. Again, that's their choice. I mean, you know, everybody has their own choice how they want to store things. We're saying, you know, how's your life going? What was it? There's somebody used to say, how's that working for you? You know, and so that's your proof. That's for yourself. Is when you do things like that, good, bad, and indifferent. Like I said, that's your choice to do it. But look at yourself and see what you're attracting by doing that. And is that okay? Do you like the life that you're creating by doing that? If so, wonderful. That's your choice. You know, if not, then you might entertain the idea of reframing, shifting things, maybe doing things a little differently, like we're saying, and just see what world that creates for you.
Absolutely. Well, Julia, why don't you let everybody know if they want to explore more deeply about themselves and really come to some conclusions about why things are the way they are in life, getting out of their ego. What do you have as a suggestion, Julia?
Yeah, I mean, if you'd like to help people, or if you want to have a session yourself, QHHT session to get your answers for yourself, or if you would like to become a practitioner to help others get the answers to their big questions in life. Why am I here? What's my purpose? You know, all those good things. What on earth was going on then? What was this all about? I mean, it's really cool how you can get these answers. QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. My mother, Dolores Cannon, created and developed it over her entire career of almost 50 years, you know. So anyway, we have that. If you go to qhhtofficial.com and you use this coupon code, I think, is it still readable?
Yes, lots of love.
Okay. Lots of love. That will get you 10% off the price of the level 1 course. And that's an online course that you can take at your own pace in the comfort of your own home. And if that seems like something that resonates with you, we'd love to have you on board. And then we also have a retreat coming up in just a few weeks in Sedona, Arizona. That's why we were talking about it earlier. And if that resonates with you, to be in this nature where the vortex energy is, and all this beautiful landscape, and with wonderful, wonderful like-minded people, then come and join us. And also the information for that is at QHHT Official as well. Do you want to give some details about what's going on? I mean, gosh, it's jam-packed, guys, with stuff.
Just check out the website. There's a lot. We're kind of at the end of the hour now. But if you go to QHHT Official, there's an explanation of everything. It's pretty amazing. We have lots of videos. And talk to people that have been there to previous. I think that's probably a good thing if you're still on the fence or whatever you want to join. Is talk to people that have. They'll tell you what these things are like.
Absolutely. So, all right. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I love you.
See you guys.